Well, why the big secret? People are smart. They can handle it.
A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it.
Hitori, a Japanese slang that means one person or alone. It is also similar to the word Bocchi, another Japanese slang referring to aloneness, or a person who is always alone or isolated. So when you put the words Hitori and Bocchi together, you form the phrase Hitori Bocchi, meaning all alone. By that definition alone, the world is filled with people who are Hitori Bocchi. I think it's becoming far more common these days to be introverted and stay locked up in a room all day instead of going out and talking to people. Sure, you could probably blame it on the pandemic or people getting stupider every day, whichever you prefer. We all love to be alone every once in a while, if not every day. But can people really live their whole lives alone? Well, if your plan is to become mentally insane, then I guess, maybe, but other than that, no. And if this anime taught me anything, it's that you're gonna have to talk to people whether you like it or not. This is Bocchi the Rock, one of the most talked about animes that come out in the last year, which is really crazy when you remember that Chainsaw Man and Spy X Family were also popular right around the same time. Truth be told, I never really cared for this anime when it was airing, because for a while I thought to myself, oh, it's another one of those slice of life waifu music group animes with yet another waifu who's cute because she's afraid of everything. Anyways, back to The Last of Us. But then a particular mutual of mine and his Discord server wouldn't shut up about this anime and how good it was. So one day I just said fuck it and binged the whole anime in less than a few weeks. And then I ended up becoming a hardcore fan of this anime, and now here I am making this video. So yeah, thanks. Portal. Bocchi the Rock is also an award darling apparently, winning in over 8 categories during the latest Anime Trending Awards, including Anime of the Year. That's how much of a big deal this anime is. The anime even spawned a soundtrack album that not only charted, but also charted higher than Stray Kids and Taylor Swift combined. I repeat, an anime OST charted higher than Taylor Swift, one of the most iconic pop stars of our time. That is fucking insane, even by anime OST standards. Love Live could never. So what is Bocchi the Rock about? Well, it centers on a first-year student named Hitori Goto, who spends her free time playing the guitar in the hopes that it'll make her look cool and get lots of friends. However, there's just one problem. Even with her sick guitar skills and a dedicated online fan base, Hitori still has trouble socializing with other people. Or at least, that's how it is for her, until a girl named Nijika Ijichi invites her to become a guitarist for her newly formed Kesoku band. And so Hitori gets her Bocchi nickname, performs her first show while covered in a box, and navigates through high school life while performing with Kesoku band, and learning to step out of her comfort zone by socializing with her friends. What I'm trying to say here is, it's basically K-On! Without the racist fanbase. For now, at least. It's also a pretty good anime, by the way. Like, yeah, it can be a bit overbearing sometimes, but the anime is relatable and surprisingly a lot of fun to watch. What else can I say? I kind of get the hype. One thing I really like about this anime is its colorful cast of characters. To start, you have the members of Kesoku Band, who are basically like if the cast of Community played in a Scott Pilgrim cover band. I previously mentioned Nijika Ijichi and is the band's drummer. She's basically the driving force of the show since she's the one who formed Kesoku Band after her older sister's other band split up, and pretty much acts as Bocchi's guide half the time. I also think she's the sanest character in the whole show. Never mind. Then you have Rio, the bassist. That one quiet but reliable B student who also likes to waste her money on weed. It's not as bad as it sounds, trust me. And then there's Kita the guitarist, a basic bitch. Do you think she likes K-pop and Starbucks? She does. Apart from these three, there's not a lot of side characters, actually, since most of the time we're hanging out with these girls. They're still worth a shout-out, though. For one, there's Kikuri, the unholy love child of Pink Floyd and Mike Stoklasa. In other words, she's a psychedelic rock musician and an alcoholic, which ends up just being an actual rock star. Do we also mention she's an alcoholic? Man, this anime's way sadder than I thought. Even Nijika's parents got fucked up.
私、小さい頃に母親が亡くなって、父親はいつも家にいないし、お姉ちゃんだけが家族だったんだ。
Man, that's just depressing. Speaking of which, we also have her older sister, Seika. The anime's contractually obligated tsundere and Kasoko Band's mentor with Doritos hair. Pie-san, or Pasan, who doesn't have a real name even after 5 years into the manga's run, and looks like if Kara Nasaka shopped at Hot Topic. And finally, Bocchi's self-proclaimed rival, Yoyoko, who we'll probably never see again if Cloverworks doesn't make a second season to this thing. Also, we have the Bocchi family, but who really cares about those guys, right? And thus leads us to the woman of the hour, Hitori Goto, aka Bocchi. The most relatable, socially anxious introvert in fiction ever? She's one part Kobeni, one part Elsie Fisher from the movie 8th Grade, and 2 parts Phoebe Bridgers. She's an introverted guitarist who writes sad acoustic ballads about being lonely, has an online cult following, and is part of an all-female indie rock band that also plays songs that's more of the same.
けどそうするとネクラでどんよりな歌詞が。でもそれリア10個に歌わせたら面白くない？え？毎日一人呪っていくね。
Like, come on, she's the biggest Phoebe Bridgers stan for someone who probably doesn't even listen to Phoebe Bridgers. And while I'm on the topic of Phoebe Bridgers, she's one of the best musicians in the indie rock scene right now, and y'all should check out her 2 solo albums, plus that new album she did with these girls. They're all indie rock masterpieces. Anyways, stan Phoebe Bridgers. All jokes aside, Bocchi is the heart of this anime, and is an extremely relatable character. Even if you're not introverted, and to that I ask, how? You'll probably still find yourself relating to her so hard, even if some of her antics might remind you of all the cringy shit you did during high school. You deeply empathize with her, especially her goal to have as many friends as she can, even if she's terrified to be anywhere near them. Her meltdowns are funny, sad, and relatable all at the same time, and pave the way for some of the most insane visuals in the anime. More on that later. My personal favorite of hers is when she meets Kita for the first time and turns into what she calls a human beatbox.
I never know how to react when a grown man beatboxes in front of me.
I hope you never run into Bismarcky.
And when she pulls out some sick riffs on stage, she's basically invincible. I do wonder though, can she play Wonderwall? Things to ponder. The visuals in this anime are also surprisingly, really creative. I'm gonna be honest, they did not need to go this hard for a funny anime about a hikikomori guitarist, but they did. I think the anime is at its best when you get to take a look inside Bocchi's inner thoughts, mainly when she's forced to socialize and her mind's just going totally apeshit. There's all kinds of cool visuals to be found in this anime too, whether it looks like the pages of a manga, a mix of live action and CGI, 8-bit animation, or is it 16-bit? Who knows? And also this scene, which is just peak fiction. Suck it, Avatar 2. Plus all these references to other anime. Motion sickness. Hell, even the episode titles and character names are references. Apparently, even the characters were named after some J-pop band and I know nothing about. I'm sure the music's pretty good though. The visuals are, without a shadow of a doubt, the best thing about this anime. A bit of a stretch here, but they kind of remind me of a cross between Spider-Verse and Everything Everywhere All at Once, and how those movies' visuals were also super creative to marvel at. Bocchiverse confirmed? And the music. Oh man, the music. Woo! I think it's pretty obvious by now that I'm not really that much of an anime song or J-pop person. You see, I prefer more sophisticated music, like Limp Bizkit. But you know what? These songs kinda slap! Distortion and Seishun Complex are my personal favorites. Plus that one song Kikuri's band played in episode 10 that sounds like Inner Speaker or Lonerism era Tame Impala. Like seriously, Kevin Parker needs to go back into the studio and make another psychedelic rock album. It's been a decade. Again, they did not need to go this hard in the studio for anime music, but they did. They did for all of us. Do expect the Why I Love for Kesoko Band's debut album in 2026. There's honestly a lot to love about this anime. Personally, I think there are way too many highlights for me to cherry pick and talk about, but I'll try anyway. First, every single performance in this anime. Going back to what I said about this anime being visually creative, even the performances are just beautiful to watch. I think it's kind of funny how the frame per rate gets smoother whenever Kasoko Band performs on stage, probably because they were rotoscoped during production, which probably also explains why the anime somehow managed to make the instrument playing accurate to real life. You just know Bocchi Seiyu could pull off a sick cover of Eruption if she wanted to. There's also the entire episode when Hitori invited her bandmates to her house and turned her whole house into an episode of the Eric Andre show. And still funnier than She-Hulk, at least.
I will kill for you, Megan Thee Stallion. Dial it back.
But while this anime is fun and all, I think the reason why I love Bocchi the Rock so much is because of how much it connects to me as a person. Okay, sure. I can't say it's too relatable simply because Bocchi isn't played by Ryan Gosling or whatever, but as someone who's dealt with introversion and social anxiety a lot in my recent years, this anime kind of spoke to me. And that was something I didn't see coming at all, to be honest. Here's the thing. One of the most famous mottos among introverts, in my opinion, is that ignorance is bliss. And so this anime challenges that mantra by asking, how long can ignorance stay blissful? I've dealt with a lot of terrible people in the past few years, and they've certainly taken a bit of a toll on me. When I was younger, I never wanted to be the shy, quiet introvert. I wanted to be the polar opposite of that, and just get along with everyone. But then once I turned 15, all of that just kind of changed for the worse. My mental health worsened, I shut myself away to become terminally online, and worst of all, I just didn't want to socialize with people anymore.
I just don't like you no more. You liked me yesterday.
I relate to Bocchi the Rock on a personal level because some of the main characters' thoughts were exactly the same as mine. Sometimes I just find myself overthinking and just terrifying myself over something as simple as talking to other people. Even my own friends and family sometimes. And believe me when I say, it gets deeply exhausting. So yeah, being an introvert is terrible, society can be terrible. However, they don't have to be. I think watching this anime has sort of made me realize that there's still good in society sometimes. And it also helped me overcome some of the social anxieties I was dealing with at the time, or at least laugh at how relatable it is when it comes to that kind of topic. I'd also say my college org kind of helped me deal with all of that too. That org saved my life. They gave me a group of friends I could feel safe and open in a time where I felt like none of that was even possible anymore. Suffice to say, I finally found my own Kasoko band. By the way, if any of my college org friends are watching this, you're the coolest people I've ever known, and I owe my life to you for that. And speaking of being introverted, have any of you seen the movies Lights Out, Annabelle Creation, or Shazam? Because the director of those movies actually made an amazing video detailing what it's like being introverted and having to work with other people 24/7. It's a video that hits close to home for me, especially as someone who loves movies as much as the next guy. And I'll be linking it down in the description for anyone who wants to give it a watch.
I've gone from someone who at times didn't think I was ever going to be able to work, like at all, to someone who has directed Hollywood movies. And it's because I've had to do things that scare me or that I suck at over and over and over until it's not so bad. And being a director on social media has taught me that life is perfectly livable despite the existence of people who think you suck. Thanks to the internet, you will learn that there will always be someone who hates you no matter what you do. But it doesn't have to affect your personal life. It did in the beginning for me, but then it gets to a point where you just go, fuck it. Who gives a shit?
All in all, my main takeaway from Bocchi the Rock is that no matter how introverted you are, it's important to make the best out of your life and get out of your comfort zone while you can. Life's too short to stay locked in and watch anime all day, you know. Wow, that got serious pretty quickly. Let's just end this video. Bocchi the Rock is most fun when it's at its most relatable. I think it'd be a shame if they don't make a season 2 to this thing, because this anime is clearly a lot of fun to watch, and it's definitely one of the best Mo animes to come out in quite a while. It's basically the best Love Live anime since School Idol Project. and 1,000 times better than whatever that franchise is up to these days. So, if you've only seen one movie or show in 2022, where a young girl navigates the awkwardness of growing up with her family and friends, goes to concerts with them, goes batshit insane anytime she feels embarrassed, and even has a scene with a giant monster rampaging through the city, then definitely check out Bocchi the Rock. Although I will admit it's kind of weird there were two of them in the same year. Anyways, that's all I have to say about this anime. Go watch it. Kita is also best girl, and shout out to Portal for gaslighting me into watching this shit. Oninatsu.